I played baseball in the spring. I didn't play football because it was during hunting season. My name's Luke Mitchell, born and raised in a little town called Perry, Missouri, about an hour and a half north of St. Louis. Grew up small town, small country living, grew up living and breathing hunting and fishing. My parents owned a 40-acre piece, and we had a little bit of tillable in the front, a little bit of hunting, and my passion really started for hunting and I guess land when I was 6 years old. That's when I shot my first deer, so that's kind of where it all started for me. I also had a good relationship with a lot of farmers in the area, so I would, ask permission, go do some work for them, stuff like that. My grandma and grandpa owned a farm down the road. Now, it was more of a cattle farm. He passed away in '99, so I was born in '92, so pretty young, and we didn't get to take it over, so we leased that out now to a neighboring farmer for cattle. Hunted our own ground, shot first deer on our piece of ground, and I still hunt that piece of ground, today. And I always knew growing up at a young age that hunting was going to be something that I'd take to the next level. How I got there, I didn't know, but I was gonna figure it out. I mean, if I had any second, I was outside doing something, whether that was fishing. My dad has been hurt pretty much my entire life. So I pretty much learned through failures and success, and then I had some friends along the way that we got to hunt together. So yeah, I just took that passion and eventually turned it into a career. I always knew I wanted to be in the hunting industry, but at that time it didn't seem realistic for a guy that lived in a town of 600-700 people that really didn't have any connections, just had a passion for the hunting side of things. So I actually went to MWI in Nevada, Missouri, and I became a certified pipe welder. So I traveled around a couple years, did that, made some pretty good money, but then just decided it wasn't doing it for me. I was always thinking September 15th, how can I make that paycheck? How can I save up enough? How can I get home and go hunt? I had a farm that I was hunting on permission. A gentleman, it was his stepson, took over the farm. Him and I become friends, long story short. He hunted for a TV show called Whitetail Freaks, big TV show. I get a message one day and he says, hey, I got a guy. He's got a TV show on the Outdoor Channel. He's got a group of guys, needs a camera guy in Pike County, Illinois. Perfect. I quit. I loaded my box that day. I left. And to be honest with you, I never really looked back after that. I just loaded my box and told the guy I was dragging, and I went hunting. We did start an online show in high school with a couple groups, friends and I, and we hunted it close to home and all that, did really well. And then everybody started having families, careers, get out of the high school stage of, okay, it's real life. That was a stepping stone to get to the ultimate goal. I filmed for a show called Trained Assassins on the Sportsman Channel, but then that was mainly a deer hunting thing. And then I would have contracts I ran around with Eddie Salter towards the end of my career where I transitioned from hunting into real estate. I ended up working for the company Realtree is where I ended my career. It's filming. I seen the opportunity to land, and I love land because you got to have land to go hunting, and it kind of coexists. So that 6-7 year period, I met people all over the country, which has led to a lot of my actual clients that I sell land for now. So it all is kind of an interweb, and it just, built on top of it. Yeah. There's a lot of times I sell around to people that don't have the options that I have had in my childhood, that they didn't get to grow up on a 40. They grew up in the city and didn't have those opportunities, things like that. So now I'm getting to sell ground to people like that, and now they're getting to live it. Like, I sold a farm to a guy this year, and he's never got to drive a tractor on his own piece of dirt. And I took my tractor over on his farm, and we tilled up his food plots. And gentleman's probably 35, 40 years old, and he was like a kid in a candy store. I tell people all the time, I'd rather show you 100 farms than you buy the wrong one. I want it to be the right one when I sell you a farm. Like, if this is what you're looking for, we're gonna find it. If you need something, you got a 1031 exchange and it needs to be done in a quick time period, or you got 2 years to wait. I've had people, we've waited 2 years to buy the right farm, and then they're smiling ear to ear. I met my wife in my hometown at Casey's General Store. And it was right before the 4th of July rodeo. And to be honest with you, I don't know what she saw in me. She didn't want me to see her eating a donut. She held the donut out the window so I wouldn't see her. So yeah, that's the first time I met her, and I'm like, I gotta have that girl. I say I have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, but my wife won't let go. So we have a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, almost to be 3 years old and 2 years old, if that makes sense. It's lady math. So when I bought our first house on a whim, it was only 3.5 acres, and I'm like, I want to own more ground. So my wife and I bought another piece of ground, which was about 19 or 20 acres, not far from my parents' place. So we bought that piece. When I went and looked at that piece of ground, I looked at it and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna afford this. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it. And anyway, so I walked on that piece of ground. I was actually gonna list it for the family. I'd known him my whole life. I went to him and I said, I really like this piece of ground. I am going to give you an offer. So I gave him an offer. We come to an agreement. I walked on that piece of ground. I'm like, I'm building a house here. And I did it. And my wife wants to be like Southern Missouri, want to look like that, and that is as close as you can get. So we own that piece, and then my wife and I just bought an additional piece that touches that farm. So we're slowly working to get it to where we're going it for a home place, but now it's like we're getting close, and it's time to go buy another farm somewhere else. Our goal is to be healthy, be a loving family, have Christmas every year, everybody just get along, you know? Our goal, I mean, we've met a lot of our goals. We just want to see our kids grow up healthy and have a good family surrounding them, which we do, but continue that. I want to take them hunting. I'll probably cry like a little baby when one of my kids kill their first deer, because I'm just emotional when it comes to things like that. So just see them grow up and have the opportunities to go out and adventure and see things. And we travel a lot already, so just keep that going. I don't see myself anywhere else.